Are you ready? Stand by.
Welcome to the Three Gun Show, your source for technique, strategy, and match recon, brought to you by Armalite Rifles, LAG Tactical, and Breda Shotguns. I'm your host, Dave Hartman. This week's episode, Adam Maxwell and I are going to talk about division jumping. This podcast is brought to you by LAG Tactical. I've been using LAG gear for 3 years now, and I just got an upgrade into their new for 2018 MCS mag pouches. MCS stands for Modular Carry System and is a two-piece design that fits most double-stack 9 and 40 mags and most AR mags. That means I can loan gear to someone in need on the range, even if we're shooting different guns. I've been using these pouches for many matches now, and they've been great. I like that you can choose the retention based on what is required by the stage, Speed Demon or Locked In Tight. I've been shooting the low-cut Supernova holster as well, and it has been a dream. They make it in a mid and high cut too if you're into that, but I'm digging the low cut. Super fast draws and plenty of retention when you need it. Check them out, lagtactical.com, and use code 3GS in all caps to save yourself 10% when placing an order. This podcast is brought to you by Breda USA, Italian shotguns that are the best in the world. And this is a shotgun tech tip from Team Breda. Hey, this is Dave Hartman from the Three Gun Show, and I'm with Tina Martin-Nims from Team Breda, and we are going to learn about choke selection.
So before you go out to the match, you want to make sure that you have an understanding of how what your chokes are patterned at. So what I like to do is I have my three main chokes that I usually use, which is a spreader, an IC, an improved cylinder, and a mod. And I set my targets out at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And it's just like a knockover steel and a flipper. And I test to see what those how they perform at those distances with the ammo that I typically use. And so when I go out onto a stage, I already know that at, say, 35 yards, I can use my mod choke and knock it out. And I'll be ready to go.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's your tech tip from Tina Martin-Nims of Team Breda. Check out Breda's B12i 3-gun ready inertia-driven shotgun at bredausa.com. That's BREDA. Adam, how you doing?
We're going hunting, Dave.
Hunting?
Yep, we're hunting for division wins and trophy plunder.
Awesome. Well, the topic is perfect for you because you've been accused of both many a time.
Whoa.
I'm just calling them like I see them, man.
Yeah, that is true. I have been accused of that from time to time.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, and it's something that I've like kind of, I don't know. I guess I've pointed out in the past, maybe not on the show. But I pointed out in the past when I've seen people doing it and then kind of, sneered or joked around, maybe gave them a little bit of a hard time. But now that I'm going to be doing it, we're going to talk about the best practices and how to jump divisions and why you'd want to play in different divisions. How's that sound?
It sounds pretty good. I mean, there's definitely some truth to it. I think there's definitely people who have done it before. But then at the end of the day, sometimes girls just want to have fun. And, it's just... It's just nice to branch out into the other divisions. There's more than one way to 3 guns, and most of us also own more than 3 guns. So,
yeah. So that's one thing I've noticed, Adam, is that 3-gunners seem to be super spenders when it comes to gear, right?
I don't understand.
Well, I guess like it was pointed out to me by Dylan recently, because I've always thought about it that way. I've had that conversation with Jesse Tischhauser a couple times and everything, but Dylan pointed out to me that he's got a bunch of USPSA friends in his area in Kansas City there that he shoots with regularly, and they give him a hard time for being unclassified and a sandbagger and all that, and then kicking their butts, of course, but. Part of that,
that's what that is.
Yeah, part of that conversation comes with a little bit of jealousy on getting the their collective butts whooped, but also jealousy as far as like sponsorship goes. That, you know, like a lot of guys are like, well, why do you have this sponsor, this sponsor, this sponsor? Because you know, you're not even that good, you know, in their eyes, right? And
yeah.
And his Dylan's response was, you know, you bought one gun 7 years ago and you're still mastering it. You know, we're three gunners. We buy new stuff all the time. And a lot of times I think it's like to our detriment, but it's also what makes us an attractive band of consumers to advertisers, and why there's way more sponsorship in three gun than there is in a lot of pistol sports.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can even look at myself, for example. I mean, I need more guns. Like, I need another hole in the head. But I decided to change divisions this year. And, you know, it's May, and I don't even really have all of them yet. Like, I got one of them just last week, you know, on Friday. So, like, you know, we're always shopping for new stuff and getting new widgets or changing things up. The game's evolving, the technology's evolving, and, you know, people's, you know, skills, tastes, and preferences are evolving too. So yeah, no, we're definitely changing stuff all the time. On the whole, I would say a lot of people are always kind of making adjustments to their equipment.
Yeah, for sure. And it's still an arms race, you know, no matter what division you play in. Like, a lot of people think like, oh, you know, I'm going to go play in USPSA production because it's less gear intensive than USPSA limited. But now you're just buying a different $3,000 gun and adding a different $1,000 set of modifications to it. You know, there's that kind of thing, and it also extends to three gun. You know, that I know guys that go through compensators. Like, I fill up my truck with diesel. You know, it's it's amazing.
Or they're just negotiating this curve of kind of, I don't know if I would even call it mastery, but like understanding or appreciation of the game. Like you know, I was in retail for a while, so I kind of had accelerated exposure to people going through the process of getting started in three gun. And so, you know, they would buy their first, or maybe even their second hand, you know, the first handgun for competition, and they would be like, well, which one do you think I should get? And I would be like, X and Y, X or Y, you know, and they would be like, well, I like Z. And I'm like, that's cool, but you're gonna be right back here in 6 months buying X or Y. Well, what do you mean? I'm like, hey man, you know, not for nothing. I don't mean, you know, and of course this is not how I said it, but, well, this isn't exactly how I said it, but like, I was like, just trust me, man. I've sold the same serial number of Z's to 6 people. Like, they all come back, you know, and maybe you don't believe me now, but you'll be back.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, and if I could write, you know, if I could write a letter to me, or, you know, if a future me could have gone back and told me to buy this or that, or don't do this or go this direction, I wouldn't have believed him. You know, my first AR, I was like, no, M4 clones look like fun. That's what I want to shoot. I don't really care about being competitive. Dumb. You know, I wish I wouldn't have, but at the same time, like, there's no way I would have talked a younger me out of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean,
you know, it's funny that you say that, because, you know, I've been doing these 3-gun 101 classes, and I've been trying to stop people from making poor purchase decisions that I made in the past, right? Or that, you know, several friends have made, or, you know, learn from my mistakes, learn from the travels that I've done, learn from the big investment that I've put into the podcast and the people that I've spoken to, right?
Right.
But you can only lead a horse to water. You cannot stop that horse from drowning itself in the water, you know?
That is absolutely true.
And
that's absolutely true.
And on the other hand, though, I think being told that the stove is hot and learning the stove is hot are two vastly different things. And when I look back at the purchases that I've made and the gear that I've used over time, I don't look back and regret anything. It's not like I did start out with that M4 clone, but I started out with the intent of using 3-gun to polish my self-defense or my shit hits the fan skills or whatever. I started with a Glock 17 because it was what I had. I started with a Mossberg 500 pump because it was what I had. And I don't regret starting that way. However, when trying to discuss pistol purchases with new students, you know, you kind of like try to shortcut that for them. and let them know like, hey, eventually you're gonna end up here. So let's try to get you in there to begin with. But when you're talking about purchasing a game or a gun for a game, when someone doesn't already have something that they can shoot, like a suitable pistol, then most people are like, okay, well, I could probably stomach $500 or $550 or $600, whatever it is, right? But
Correct.
spending $3,500 on a 2011 is out of my budget, and it's more than I'm willing to invest to see if I like this game or not. So a lot of times I think we need to make those baby steps. But there are times when we just want to have new toys. Like like the perfect example is you and I were at Arms and Arms when you worked there, and you were showing me around like all the cases and everything. And by the way, if you're in a gun store and you're out of state looking at handguns, it's the best position to be in because you can play with everything and not worry about going home with something.
True story.
And if you got Adam following you around with the keys, it's even better. But there was that that oddball STI. It was a double stack 45 ACP 6-inch long slide. Right?
Oh yeah.
Remember that thing? Like that thing was
yeah.
was like clown shoes big. I couldn't.
Yep. Had a bird's nest in its barrel too.
Neither of us could think of a reason to shoot that thing. Like there's no game that it was appropriate for.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
But it was looking at that pistol, it was so appealing. It's like, God, what is it about this that like makes me want to take it home and put it on my belt and have a nice barbecue?
Yeah, right. Or like on the flip side too, you're talking about like the $3,500 pistol. I was actually talking to Travis Vogel, who's my roommate right now. One night I had a conversation with a particularly difficult customer, and most people, they kind of roll off your back, but there's a few of them that follow you home, and and I was talking to him about it, and I told him, I said this, that, and the other thing. He's like, dude, like I was the same way when I was in customer care. Like I just wanted to like inform people and give them the right answer and help them understand. But he's like, that guy that you were talking to, he's like, have you ever seen that movie Band of Brothers? I was like, yeah, I've seen Band of Brothers. And he's like, when they go and they find the concentration camp? Like, yeah. And they see all those starving people, and like the soldiers try to go up and feed the prisoners. Mm-hmm. And the other guy stops him. He's like, no, you can't feed those guys. I'm like, what do you mean? And like, they're not ready. Like, you'll hurt them. You'll kill them if you give them that kind of food. And he's like, that's what that guy was like. Like,
Whoa.
You were right, but he was not ready to hear that. And now, if you go back to like a couple episodes ago, he had Mike Whitesides on here, and he talked about how, the shotgun costs, $4,000 or whatever it is, but you divide the cost of the shotgun by the number of rounds you're going to shoot through it, and it's going to be the cheapest gun you ever own. And it's like, that's true, but man, that entry-level guy, he's not ready to hear that yet.
And that's a freaking amazing point. We got to give Travis some props on that one. But the Dave of 2011, 2012 that was shooting all that gear that I just mentioned was not ready to hear that.
Yeah, and the Adam Maxwell of 2012 was not ready to hear that either.
Yeah. Huh, interesting. So when we had Bill Corcoran,
I sit with a $6,000 pistol on my desk.
We'll get to that bad boy in a minute. Let's hear it one more time though.
Oh, yeah? You want to get some? Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Wait for it. There it is.
So we were talking to Bill Corcoran about shooting heavy division recently when we were at Vortex Shooter Source 3 again. We just played that one a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, but it got me thinking about division hunting. And that was the second conversation of the weekend as far as division hunting goes. Like on the way down, one of my friends was texting me, and he was saying like, or he had sent me like a screen capture of a conversation that he was having with someone else who was giving him a hard time for never having a title. So my friend, we'll call him A, A was shooting Tac-Ops, and the guy that was giving him a hard time, we'll call him B. B was shooting heavy division. So A's like, hey, look, I'm playing in the most competitive division out there, and you've never played in Tac-Ops, so you can take all your titles and the 10 different people that shoot there that each have 20 years on you and go pound sand. That was the thing in it. But it got me thinking about that division jumping thing. And then the conversation that we had with Bill about like how much he enjoys heavy division. It's like, well, maybe it's not just trophy hunting. Maybe there's some fun to be had here. So I got to thinking about the matches that I'm going to shoot coming up here, and like maybe playing in different divisions. And so one thing that you've said in the past is that there's certain matches that lend themselves to being fun for different divisions, right?
Absolutely.
So I want to talk about the match I have coming up here, but can you give a couple examples of like maybe matches that are more fun for different divisions?
Specifically to me, one of the things I was looking to do, like I wanted to shoot a division in heavy metal just to do it. I mean, I'm a big 1911 fan, so I have plenty of them. I just kind of wanted, I got a 308 this year from PWS. I've been shooting it. I primarily shoot it to test customer scopes for our range certification program. But I was like, man, I'd like to shoot this in a match one time, sometime. I don't want to do a whole season in heavy metal, but it would be fun to do it one time. And then, so then like friends were, well, don't do it at a major match, do it at a local match. Well, all of our local matches have less than 200-yard shots, so that'd be about as fun as putting a tournament bass boat into a 2-acre pond and fishing for walleye or sunfish. Like it's not the same thing. So you want it. If you're going to shoot the heavy gun, you kind of want to go someplace that lends itself to throwing the heavy bullets and more of a a DMR style match. So like for me, that was the shooter source match. I kind of had it in the back of my head like I want to do it. There's only a couple matches on my schedule where it would be fun, and that's one of them. And so I tried to get it together, and just the logistics of it just didn't work out. I couldn't get the ammo that I needed in the time frame that I was working with. So I didn't do it. But now, even that ammo showed up like the next Monday. So
nice.
But now, like, there aren't any matches on my schedule that I'm interested in shooting open at, or not open, heavy. Like, I don't want to shoot heavy at Expedition Multigun. I could definitely shoot heavy at Expedition Multigun, but like that's not a match that lends itself to heavy metal. Other than if you just want to get your jollies on shooting the heavy gun in a bay, which just isn't the reason that I wanted to do it.
But heavy gun in a bay kind of sounds lame because now you're taking one shot on every target.
Right.
It's like thump, thump, thump. It's like, I don't know.
Yep. Same thing with not directly cross compatible, but like when I was shooting in factory division in 3-Gun Nation. It's like they had some stages, the stages were some really hoser stages set up, but here I am in a division that's limited ammo capacity. It's like, man, this stage would be really fun with an open gun or with a loaded, practical pistol.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, and I shot single stack a lot of years for the fun of reloads too, and so like I still like that part of the game, and don't mean it to be derogatory, but there are times where it's like, man, they really set this match up to go fast, so it would be fun to go fast here if I didn't have guns with plugs in them. So there are matches as you go around the country. I know one year at Blue Ridge, Travis Gibson and Mark Roth were talking like, oh man, this is an open shooters match, man, all the way. You have a bipod here, you're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah.
I didn't have a bipod that year. It was kind of hard. So so yeah, I mean every match does have its own flavor, and if you're inclined to shoot some of the other divisions, I'm at least for me, like if I'm not gonna commit a whole season to a division, there are definitely some matches that lend themselves to certain divisions, or they're more fun in certain divisions, depending on what you're into.
Yeah, and I kind of looked around this this year, and I thought, well, I want to have some fun, and it's not like 3-Gun's not fun anymore, but it's I wanted to get like a wider breadth of knowledge. So kind of set the goal of shooting some club matches in different divisions, right? So
Right.
I got a buddy to commit to loaning me a Scar and a nice 45, because the one I have is as reliable as you would expect a 1911 to be.
What do you got, buddy?
It's
What do you loan you?
no. The one that he's going to loan me is
Yeah, talk dirty to me.
FNP 45.
Oh, you blew it.
I know. So the one I have is a Springfield Armory GI model. So it's got like
I have that one.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I love it, but I didn't
I
realize
want to shoot it in 3-gun.
Yeah, that was the first pistol I ever bought, but I didn't realize that guns weren't supposed to malfunction that often until I started shooting Glock 17. I'm like, oh, look, this thing runs every time I pull the trigger. Anyway, so there's that, and then, okay, so you got to solve the pump problem. No big deal there. My friend Kevin Travis, who's the match director of Colorado 3-Gun Championship and SoCo 3-Gun, he just jumped divisions as well to open division, picked up a nice X-Rail, which if you've ever shot an X-Rail, it's kicking the pants. It's a completely different experience. So he's got that, and he's got an open pistol, and he's like, yeah, man, we'll squad up at a club match sometime. You can shoot it. I'm like, heck yeah. So, and then of course there's limited, which I started in limited, and
Yes, did I?
yeah. So limited's pretty easy here in Colorado because once again we don't shoot past 200 yards, so it's not that big of a deal. And really, if you're shooting TAC in Colorado, I mean, you might as well be shooting limited. But I ran a couple club matches in limited so far this year, and it's just kind of fun to play in that type of division where you can't use the crutch of like, maybe I'll go 1.5x or 2x or something like that on this. You have to rely on that 1x. So I did that with the Spitfire, and then when I had this inkling that in the Colorado 3-Gun Championship I want to run a new division that's out there, I threw the Huey on my rifle, and I've been shooting limited division in that, and kind of a limited asterisk. So do we want to get into the match that I'm going to shoot and the division I'm going to shoot here? Should we talk about that?
Yeah, before we move on, though, I just want to put the exclamation point on shooting limited made me a stronger rifle shooter for sure. It definitely changed. I mean, I only did it for a year and a half after shooting TO seriously, and we can get into that later in the show. But but no, like it absolutely changed my perspective. It's like, no, I don't need 2 power to shoot a plate rack at 90 yards. I don't. If I have it, maybe I'll use it. It kind of depends how big the plate is, but like I don't need it, and in fact, it might hinder me a little bit.
Yeah.
So so the different divisions also division jumping does give you a little bit of different perspective on the game.
Yeah.
As well. So
there's a concept that you and I have talked about in the past on the podcast as well about cross training, and the you brought it up, and you seem to have a pretty good source for this. Do you remember this one?
Yes, I believe very strongly in cross training. And I know exactly where I got it from. A guy who knows a little bit about the action shooting sports. I think his first name's Jerry. I can't remember how to spell his last name.
Yeah, most people mispronounce it. It's Michalek. So yeah, Jerry Michalek has a video on cross training, and you brought up the topic, and I that was kind of like my first exposure to it in a number of years, because I watched that video when it first came out, but then I just kind of forgot about it, right? But it got me in that mode of thinking like, oh, okay. And then some additional conversations that you and I have had, and then chatting with Ruben, Alex, and the coworker years at Vortex.
Yes, sir.
Who's been on the show in the past. We've had that conversation about shooting limited and how it makes you a better shooter as well. So before the Vortex match, I did shoot a club match in limited with my Spitfire, and that kind of I did that on purpose to kind of get back to that feel and maybe not mess with gear so much. And then, of course, since Vortex Shooter Source has targets out to 550 yards, I went ahead and put the Viper back on for that match. But
smart play.
Thank you. But then yeah, so coming back on the way back, I pretty much decided like, okay, well, I'm going to shoot this this new division here. So
what do you got going on?
So Colorado 3-Gun Championship. So Kevin Travis is the match director of this match. He is the match director of SoCo 3-Gun as well, SoCo Shooting Sports. So it's like a club match here in southern Colorado, which is basically Colorado Springs. And so he looked around and he's like, why am I surrounded by 3 military bases, possibly 4, I always lose count, and all these law enforcement jurisdictions, and then I have just a handful of law enforcement at my range. And Kevin's a firefighter EMT as well, or firefighter paramedic.
Firefighter marksman.
Yeah, or firefighter paramedic. I can't remember which, but sorry, Kev. So he put together like, if I had to make rules that would encourage law enforcement and military to come shoot the game, how would they be? You know? And then he took a lot of feedback from people in the 3-Gun Talk group, and over a period of weeks, he came up with a rule set. And I didn't actually pay attention to that discussion because I'm of the opinion that if I'm not going to participate in a division, then my opinion doesn't really matter on what happens there. And that opinion came from the heavy discussion that we have all the time. Whereas like guys that actually shoot heavy are totally fine shooting a semi-automatic shotgun, a 9mm, and a 308. Whereas everyone that doesn't actually shoot heavy really wants you to shoot a pump, really wants you to shoot a 10-round 10-round single-stack 45 and a 308, right? With iron sights. With iron sights. Yeah. And one arm tied behind your back.
That's not heavy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's always those people that don't play in that division. So knowing that, I didn't participate in it. And now that I'm going to participate in it, I read the rules. And I don't like a lot of the rules, but I'm obviously going to play by a lot of the rules. And I'm going to game it as hard as I possibly can. Because that's what I do.
Walk hard.
All right, so the division that Kevin created is called Patrol Division, and it's a division that's being run at his club matches, and then he's also running it at the Colorado State Championship, which is where I'm going to shoot it. It is so it's basically gear intensive, so almost everything is exactly the same as limited, except everything I'm about to read you. So I'll go by different gun here, and then we can discuss them. So first up is pistol. No double stack, single action only pistols. The most controversial part of this. Next one is...
Really?
Yeah, we'll get stew on that one, buddy. Hang on a minute. The second one is must start hammer forward if DASA. Frame weights are not allowed. Pistol lights must be operational. There's a 15-round magazine limit. You can download them. Otherwise, limited division rules apply.
I have one question.
What?
On the flashlight? Does that mean you have to have an operational flashlight, or if you have a flashlight, it has to be operational?
It does not say, but I take that to mean if you have a pistol light, it must be operational. So what they don't want you to do is...
You can't Bob Vogel your flashlight?
Can't Vogel the flashlight, which for those of you at home who wonder what we're talking about, Bob Vogel, badass USPSA, IDPA shooter, also law enforcement in his daily life, shoots Glocks, I think exclusively, and he did shoot one match, maybe more, with a TLR-1. I want to say maybe I'm going too detailed here and getting some of this shit wrong. But
the rules and limited allow you to have a weight on your pistol. They do not allow you to have a flashlight. Well, flashlights automatically bump you to open. So he took a flashlight, a Glock flashlight housing.
I think you have that backwards, dude.
Nope.
You can have a weight but not a flashlight?
Correct. I've researched this heavily.
Okay. All right, I'll let you take over here.
Yeah, you can have a flashlight in open. You can have a weight in limited. You may not have a flashlight in any division other than open.
Can you have a weight in other divisions?
Yes, you can bolt on the biggest, most obnoxious lead sinker of a weight on the front of your pistol you want. It just can't be a flashlight. So Bob took the old school pre-LED, like the incandescent flashlight, the Glock flashlight, gutted it out, filled it with lead shot, put it on his pistol, because it would then fit in his holster.
Oh.
So it's a weight.
Oh.
It's a weight that fits in my holster.
So
shot it.
It's basically like he didn't want to get a specific holster for a weight, so he used a flashlight.
Right. And, I think to any logical person, it made sense. Like, oh, yeah, well, wait, what's the difference? But because the initial the initial form of the weight was a flashlight, some people said, oh, that's a flashlight. You can't do that. It's illegal. Bump you to open. I don't know. Maybe they got their butts beat by Bob and they wanted to go up higher on the list.
But wait a minute. You said that only open could use a flashlight.
That's correct. So it's because the housing was a flashlight initially.
Oh, so he was trying to use it as a weight.
As a weight in limited, some other folks were trying to bump him to open because it started life as a flashlight.
I got you. So I got the story completely backwards. I was under the impression that it was so this is now urban myth. So urban legend. So I was under the impression that he was shooting a division that allowed flashlights but not weights, and that he weighted the flashlight to be nefarious. So that was my mistake.
Nope. They said my understanding, they said it was a flashlight, or they were trying to say that it was a flashlight and bump him to open. However, I believe, and this is the part that I'm hazy on, I believe he successfully argued that it's just a weight because it's not an operational flashlight, and he got to shoot limited.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, I like to shoot USPSA from time to time with, like, I would my single stack gun. I have a Nighthawk single stack gun that I like to shoot. I like to shoot it with a flashlight on because that's how I carried it when I was in retail, and because I worked the night shift. But I'd have to take it off to shoot USPSA, technically, or be bumped to open with an 8-shot single stack gun. So, but when I heard, getting back on track here, when I heard the rule about the flashlight and it had to be an operational flashlight, I was like, oh, so does everybody have to have a flashlight now? Because that would be cool.
See, I think
I could also see it being restrictive.
I think what the deal is here is they want you, if you are law enforcement, they want you to feel comfortable showing up with your duty gear. So if you normally carry, for example, a Glock 17 with a flashlight on it, they want you to show up with that Glock 17 with the flashlight on it and quote-unquote train like you fight kind of thing, right?
Yep. And not fill it with weight.
Right. However, if you carry a double-stack, single-action-only pistol, you are not welcome at this match in this division.
Yeah.
So
no soup for you.
Yeah, so that's the biggest sticking point I have there, and I actually just put up a couple days ago, put up a thread on the Three Gun Talk forum about, hey, looking to shoot this division, which pistol should I buy? And my choices were a Glock 22, like a used 40 caliber Glock 22, right? Because it's what police carry here in Colorado. It's 15 round capacity, and it meets the intent of the rules. And you
can get them so cheap.
Yeah, you can get them used for like $350. But on the other end, I had the CZ SP01 Accu Shadow, which is a $2,800 pistol or something like that, or whatever. I don't know. I didn't really look too hard, but it's a double action, single action. It is a full race gun by a race shop of CZ. Right? It's done by like CZ Race something or other. I don't know. Again, I don't have it up pulled up in front of me here, but
CZ Custom for the win.
CZ Custom, thank you. So it is a custom race gun, right? And it's like, how are these two allowed in the same division? Like, those two are diametrically opposed. It doesn't make any sort of sense to me. If you don't allow this CZ race gun in, if you allow this CZ race gun in, but you don't allow like a stock STI double stack 9mm, how is that congruent in your head? So I was pointing out the oddity there, but I think the reason that double action, single action are in there is that they don't want to discourage the 7 police officers in the world that are still using SIG P226s or whatever they are. double action, single action pistols. So,
Yep.
In my mind, this would have been better if they just said striker fire, but I guess we're not really here to argue the rules. We're here to figure out how we can game the rules. So,
Right.
So,
And there's your first answer.
is to buy that CZ.
Yep.
Yeah. So that unfortunately does not fit the 3-gun show budget unless someone wants to ship me one here. But in which
Come on, patrons.
Yeah, exactly. In which case we will provide an address for you. Anyhow, so I'm going to be shooting my Glock 34. The downloading to 15 round magazine limit. I wasn't around for the original part of this because I wasn't going to shoot the division, but I'm guessing that is like a bring your duty gear. And again, the Glock 22 is the basically the most popular duty pistol out there. And by the way, I keep saying duty, and it makes me want to laugh. Thanks, Adam. Anyway, so I think 15 round capacity on that is the reason that's there. You can't say that it's a Colorado restriction. That's our magazine restriction on magazines here in Colorado because law enforcement has an exemption, so that doesn't make any sort of sense. But anyway, 15 round magazine. Other limited division rules apply, so I can do magwell. I have my frame stippled. I have all the slide cuts and everything. Several $100s into a trigger. Base pads are fine. Just 15 round capacity.
I think that's just leveling the playing field across platforms. As it was initially when they originally started with the 10 round restrictions in USPSA, and actually IDPA did it first. It was more so because if your department is issued a Beretta 92, but my department's issued a Glock 17, there's an advantage to me having a full magazine over you. So they kind of want to level the playing field across pistols, and I think 15 is closer to a full capacity without giving the nod to a specific manufacturer who can fit a couple more rounds in there.
And I agree on that.
So I guess I don't get too bent out of shape about that particular rule.
USPSA production also happened during the assault weapons ban, so don't forget that. So there was the 10 round capacity limit. I want to say it was countrywide. I don't know. I wasn't really a big gun owner back then, but
I don't know if it was. I know IDPA was during the Clinton ban.
Yeah.
And I know production division was a direct reaction to IDPA stealing membership attracting membership away from USPSA.
Yep.
So they kind of made their version of it.
Boom. There you go. All right. I do like the fact that the 15 round magazine limit does differentiate this from limited and Tac-Ops. So it can't be something silly where it's like, oh, I'm just going to bring my, my SIG P320 that I carry on duty, and then I'm going to add a base pad to it, and now I'll have 24 rounds. So I do like that part of it, that it actually makes it a different pistol division.
I also like that you have enough magazine, like you have a level playing field with the restricted magazine capacity, but you still have enough magazine capacity that you don't have to have 8 magazines to get through a stage. Because that's a big pitfall to action shooting too. You tell somebody that they need 4 or 5 mags, and they'll be like, "Well, can I get by with 2?"
yeah.
Or it's like, no, you need more. You need more magazines.
I don't get that. Oh God,
that's a whole nother trail.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I mean, it has enough capacity. My point being that it's enough capacity that you don't need 1,000,007 magazines. To Kevin's credit, a law enforcement officer can show up with the number of magazines that they have for their job, and get through the course of fire without needing supplemental equipment. So
yeah, that's a very good point. And the we'll get to it in a minute here, but I did shoot a club match using the rifle and the pistol setup that I'm going to be using for this match, because I didn't have a appropriate pump shotgun. But I found that I didn't really miss the capacity, which means we're usually dumping pistol mags with 7 rounds left in them, you know. So was that an evil laugh?
Or more in open.
Or more. Yeah, exactly. All right, so moving on to the rifle. So rifle is AR-15 pattern rifle. I'm guessing because this is America.
Like, what if we issue Kalashnikovs or Mini 14s?
Right. Well, and I want to say that I heard some chatter about that, but no one could actually point to a department or raise their hand saying I was issued a Kalashnikov, so they nixed that one. So AR-15 pattern rifle. Next one is fixed magnification optics or iron sights allowed. Next one is if magnifier is used on a red dot, it has to be affixed in magnified position for duration of the match. Next one.
Oh.
Yeah. Next one is 30-round magazine maximum. Base pads allowed if they do not add any capacity. Next one is offset irons are not allowed. Backup irons or co-witnessed are. And then the final one. Yeah. The final one is otherwise limited division rules apply. So, Adam, what's your thoughts on that?
You know, there are some interesting rule choices there. I for the most part I actually like them for the spirit of the division. Because like the iron sight one would be a good one. Like, well, what if I have offset iron sights? You know, and that's true. But if they allow them now, you know, in a division where we're trying to somewhat put some guardrails around gaming, if you have a fixed power optic like a Trigicon, and you have flip up iron sights, so you have 1x and you have 3-4x, I mean, that's a competitive advantage. And then pretty much at a championship level, you pretty much got to have offset iron sights.
Yeah, and initially, that's exactly what I thought. Is I would get one of those 3x Spitfires, right? Or is it a Strike Fire? Is it Spitfire?
You're correct on Spitfire. Yep.
Okay, so 3x Spitfire, and then do offset irons. So that was my initial goal. And then when I looked at this, I was pissed off because I couldn't game it because I thought I was all cool, like I had a cool idea. And then he's like, "No, Dave, we thought of that." So I know backup irons or co-witnessed are allowed. I think is dumb. Like just the fact that there are flip up irons in the same plane as your scope are dumb. So I don't know. I'm of that. Like
basically, I mean, I guess I don't have a problem with that one because basically he's saying, yeah, you can have them. You're not really, if you use them, you're not really getting an advantage, but you don't have to take off, you know, the equipment that your department requires you to have, and that's pretty commonplace in that world that they're required to have backup iron sights because that mentality is definitely alive and well there. So I guess I don't get too bent out of shape about that one.
Yeah, I just think the whole concept of flip up backup irons are dumb, but again, that's another rabbit trail.
They are. Oh, they are. Don't get it twisted. They are, but that wheel change turns very slow. So.
Yeah, I do like the fixed magnification optic or iron sights is cool. You know, fixed magnification can be like a 1x, like a Spitfire, like the new Crossfire. Those type of optics. I'm choosing to go with the Huey because it's new, and for another reason that I've told you about offline that we'll get to in a minute here. And then
well, and I also like that like the fixed 4-power, you know, ACOG style sights are legal too.
And that's what I was going to say too, because there are army bases nearby, and if they have like a duty weapon with like an issued ACOG or something like that, then they can still come and play.
Well, yeah, and I think the challenge that they have having magnification at close range is probably offset by the challenge of people not having magnification at intermediate distance. Whether it's real or equal or not, well, that's something else. But at least like it's not like you have to have a fixed 4-power optic to be competitive, because it's not like because that guy, you know, he has his challenges too using that optic. So it's kind of like there's no good choice.
Yeah.
There's only there's only varying levels of on what you're gonna put on top there. So
Yeah,
I kind of like that one.
I do too. I'm pretty excited about that. So the other okay, so let me throw another if out there. So they being the range that this is at, they were planning to build a 600-yard berm, and it was supposed to be done in time for the championship. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I think we're limited to like 200, which makes this, Huey only. However, if this was a stage where you have, or excuse me, a match where you have 7 stages of hoser out to 75 or 80, whatever it is, and then one stage that has long range, then I would employ backup iron sights. I would zero the backup irons for whatever distance that we're doing. And then I can understand, like, okay, well, now this comes into play, and that's sufficiently gamer enough to make my heart happy. So, however, as it is, just one optic, I'm going with the Huey, and we're going to shoot out to 200 yards, so it shouldn't be a big time. 30-round magazine capacity maximum. I like that.
I mean, it's a good standard. If you're gonna go that route, yeah. I mean, you work the rifle skills. You got some decent capacity. It's the most common that people are gonna have. It's most common that people are gonna be able to draw, out of their equipment lockers. So it's pretty logical choice if you're trying to nip the arms race in the butt there, because the floodgate is definitely open for all the accessories, as we can see in Tac-Optics, of what you could do for magazines on the rifles.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and let me bring up one of my favorite arguments. So I asked a question on the Facebook the other day. This was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Should the D60 be legal in Tac-Ops? And then you get the idiots that didn't actually read the question, or don't have reading comprehension, or are just being obtuse, and they're like, well, if the Surefire is legal, the D60 should be legal. It's like, no. That wasn't the question. That wasn't the, can you think of 7 other reasons that this should be legal? It was, should this be legal? That is the question. Should it be legal? We'll attack the Surefire in a minute here, but let's deal with this. And I think once you start going down that road, like you say, there are floodgates. So limiting it to 30-round magazine maximum, I think is good. I'm guessing Kevin's going to get people that are like, well, hey, what about my Daniel Defense 32-rounders? And let me save you the time. No, it is not legal. 30. So I kind of like this, though, because, I shot for the first time with actual 30-round PMags in a club match. And I'd be surprised I didn't really miss the extra 15 rounds or 30 rounds when I'm running my D60. So I did.
Late breaking news.
Okay.
Mike Whitesides just sent me a picture of my Vepr barrel on Facebook.
Oh my God.
Back to regularly scheduled programming.
Why are you on Facebook during the podcast?
Hey man, I'm contenting.
That's exciting. Let's get to that in a minute here.
But back to
were you listening about the magazines?
Yeah, I was listening to the magazines, and I actually had a question for you.
Sure.
Could you read the rule on the magazine again?
Ooh, I think I know where you're going with this. I like where your head's at. 30-round magazine 30-round magazine maximum. Base pads allowed if they do not add any capacity.
Are you ready for this, Hartman?
I am, dude, and I think I already know where you're going.
What about them MBX bases with the duck wings?
Oh, that is not where I thought you were going. As long as they don't add capacity. I think those add capacity, though.
Do they?
Yeah, I think they're plus 5s.
I never actually forked out the coin for one, so...
I've seen them in real life, and I really think they add 5. But you can use...
Touche.
Yeah, so I texted Kevin the other day when I was heading to a match, and I was like, hey, you don't say can't use couplers. Can I use couplers? And then a few hours later, I got a text back. It's not in the rules, gamer. So I totally gave it away here. If you're shooting Patrol Division at Colorado 3-Gun Championship, couplers are allowed because it's not allowed. So
show me the rule, homie.
Exactly. So I think that pretty much wraps it up there. I'm going to be doing couplers if I need to go prone, or couplers on barricades or something like that. But other than that, I'll just be doing 30-round PMags. So yeah. All right. So here's the fun one. And this is somewhat controversial as well. Shotgun. Pump action 12 gauges only. 8-round tube max. Plugs okay in extended tubes. No detachable magazines. Local match will allow them for 2018 season only, so as to evaluate how the advantages and disadvantages play out versus 8-round tube guns. Maxed at 8 rounds still. Well, I already know the advantages there, but last one is other limited division rules apply. So, pump shotgun, 8-round max.
My question is how many police departments still issue shotguns?
I see them all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, and generally the way I see them now is next to a carbine. So it's not like they took away the shotgun. It's just they added a carbine, and I'm not saying like I go out and operate or shit like that, but I just like look in police cars as I walk by. So
I go on ride-alongs.
Yeah. So do you see shotguns?
I don't. That's why in my local community, a couple of my friends who I rode around with, Saz 41 and Trevor, who I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna say his last name. I don't know if he's cool with that.
Right, Trevor.
But yeah, no, they just have carbines. And my local city that I grew up in, they were only they removed shotguns and they just had MP5s. And the MP5s evolved into M4s. So that's kind of an evolving challenge of that division too. Is like I think the shotgun's kind of going away as a lead propulsion device. I mean, they probably still keep them around for beanbags and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also guilty of being ignorant. So if any of the LE guys are out there like screaming at their iPhone right now, like calm down, all right? But that's just my perception of my very narrow perspective of the law enforcement community. Is they're largely moving away from shotguns. So
yeah. So it's interesting because I know that at some level the Benelli M4 is issued. I know that a lot of military use it. I know people personally that have used the M4 overseas. The only pump shotguns that I'm aware of that friends have used in combat were breaching, and so they're like AOWs, the little tiny guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know that other than the M4 and in very limited capacity, are other semi-automatics issued?
I think the M3 is out there.
What is the M3? I'm not familiar with that.
The M3 is a variant of the Benelli that is pump and semi-auto.
No.
So it was based off of
What voodoo are you talking about?
the M1 Super 90. And then they made it so that you could pump it as well. So you had a semi-auto shotgun, but if you're going to use less lethal shells that generally don't have enough gas, you could hand shock the gun and operate it that way. So you could shoot both.
Oh man, that's interesting.
It was not terribly popular commercially, but I do believe that they're out there in government or agency lockers.
Right. So in that case, you're going to be, other than that, you're going to be looking at pump action.
Right.
Right.
Right. But yeah, I mean,
Remington 870s, Mossberg 500s.
Yeah, for the most part, Remington 870 and Mossberg 500, 590 pretty much own that market segment. So
Yeah.
there's probably a few Winchester 1300s out there, but not enough for Winchester to keep making it. So, yeah, it's pretty much a Remington Mossberg world out there. It's kind of like how the Red Dot world is pretty much like Aimpoint versus EOTech, and Mavericks like us over here at Vortex are trying to change that. But like right now, they're pretty much out there, and so it would take a lot for a company to challenge the Remington Mossberg dominance of that particular market segment. So,
So I question the 8-round capacity. Then why? And I would think that'd be a nod to, well, if you have your heavy gear, you can come out and play, because most heavy is limited to 8-round, right? But if you're going to go buy a 870 Express Tactical right now, you've got 6+1, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And then there's the 870 Special Purpose Marine Magnum, 6+1, 6+1, 6+1. Everything's 6+1. So I think that it being 8-round is like, hey, if you normally shoot heavy division, or if you have a heavy gun at home, or if you want to borrow a heavy gun, heavy division gun, then yeah, you've got your 8-round tube there.
Yeah, certainly exceptions to that one, but like I see it as a pretty logical bar.
I totally do too. I totally do too. So I called up Jeff at Breda USA, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going? Do you guys make a pump shotgun?" All right, we're back again with Christy Hiring of Aguila Ammunition. And Christy, you've got a big match coming up with the Aguila Cup, June 14th through the 17th in Decatur, Texas. Tell us what the types of shooting that we can expect when we're out there.
Yeah, so we're going to have sporting clays out there in a few different categories. We're going to have the CZ USA main event. We're going to have the Blaser 5 stand, and then we're going to have FETASC. In addition, we're going to have the Tandem Cross Rimfire Challenge, and then we'll have the Lucas Oil 3-gun challenge. And then within those events, if you really want to see what a strong shooter you are, and if you can cross platforms, and we have the Brownells Triple Threat Award, and you can become eligible by shooting in the 5-stand, the rimfire, and the 3-gun categories.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, most of my listeners are 3-gunners, and we like to think that we're the most well-rounded of shooters. So it'd be interesting to see who comes out on top in that one.
Yeah, it really will, and I'm really excited because some of the Team Aguila pro shooters, I wanted everybody to participate in everything, and on their own, these guys and ladies like, yeah, we're doing the triple threat. It's going to be fun to try something new. So I've got sporting clay shooters that have never shot 3-gun before. I've got 3-gunners that have never shot sporting clays before. Same with rimfire. So I'm excited to see them excited to try something new.
Well, very cool. So this is June 14th through the 17th in Decatur, Texas. If you're interested in checking it out, it's shootaguilacup.com. That's AGUILA. Thanks, Christy.
Thank you.
So I called up Jeff at Breda USA, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going? Do you guys make a pump shotgun?" What do you think the answer was on that one?
I want to say no.
Yeah, it's like asking for a Ferrari these days in a manual transmission. Basically, you get the paddles, the illusion of shifting yourself, right? So no is the answer on that one. So unfortunately,
so they just take the inertia spring out so you can pretend to pump it yourself.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. So so no, they don't make a pump shotgun. So I kind of looked around, and I was talking to my buddy Mike about borrowing his gun because he normally shoots heavy, but then it looks like he wants to shoot this division as well, which is kind of cool. Just because I'm getting excited about it, he seems to be getting excited about it. So looking at other options out there, Arns and Arms had like a used Benelli Nova with a 10-round tube on there, and I was like, "Oh hey,
yeah.
You're my Huckleberry." But they
hey
sold,
girl, hey.
Yeah, they sold it real fast. So missed out on that one. Looking at the schedule I have, I need to make a decision quick. So I think that I'm going to go with the Stoeger P3000.
Really?
Are you familiar with the Stoeger P3000?
Vaguely.
So I had heard like, okay, well, this is very similar to the M3000. And if you look at the, by the way, price point, like buying over the counter is like $250. So it makes it pretty cheap if you are just dabbling for something, right? So from the reading I've done, the barrels transfer over. If you look at the receiver side by side, which I went to Cabela's and I was looking at them side by side, they're almost exactly the same. Almost. They look very, very similar. The inertia system of the Stoeger M3000, which I shot last season, is under the grip. It's in the front. So if you carry that forward and you think like, oh, I could just operate this manually with my hand, then that's probably where Stoeger went with that one. So I'm excited to get that shotgun and then take it apart next to my M3000 and see like what kind of crossover stuff there are. But basically, I'm going to get that shotgun in and massacre the port with a hacksaw and a file and see what I come up with. And I'm going to take a. So I think the Breda and the M3000 nut are the same, and if so, I'm just going to take the tube from my Breda, which will give me 12-round capacity, and plug it 4 rounds, which might be asking for trouble, but I'm going to try it. So you're silent. You must have some thoughts on this.
On the shotgun?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have gone Remington, man.
Remington? No.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let me tell you all the reasons why you can't go Remington.
Please.
So Remington has this really bad short stroking problem, and that's on the old guns, and the new guns are just shit, and it's all across the board. Like every Remington that's come out ever since they got bought by Cerberus has gotten progressively worse.
Really?
Yeah. So honestly, would not be able to say I got a Remington. That said, in the future, if you hear me hawking Remingtons, I got a big check from them, and that's the only reason.
Yeah, in the spirit of the division, I would probably go Remington. At the end of the day, if I were spending money, I would probably buy a Nova.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a Nova would be good. It's about double the cost, though. Right.
I would spend it though. If I were going to invest in a pump shotgun, I would invest in the Benelli. It's the answer, I think, for what we're doing.
I think you're right. Traditionally, the P3000 is new-ish, right? It's very much like the M3000 that I shot last year. So I'm going to try it out, and I'll let you know how it goes. And I like to do new shit like that, and then I really
do.
I do, yeah. And then again, it's inexpensive. So for a gun that I'm going to shoot probably in 2 to 3 matches a year, I'm okay with it.
Hey man, if you just followed the herd and bought the safe gun, I mean that wouldn't be a very good after action show. So
I know, and it's kind of funny because that's like how we started this podcast too, was trying to save each other from from mistakes. So this will be perfect.
So listeners, let us go make some mistakes for you, and we'll tell you about them.
So I will report back. All right, so. The last part, so that's pretty much the guns here. I want to read this last part to you, and then Adam, I want to hear if you have any additional thoughts on how I can game this to my advantage. So the next part is called intent, and it says the goal of this is to not be stupid restrictive, but to still have a completely different division than limited, still be encouraging to new shooters, and be a place for military and police to exercise their duty gear, as well as new shooters who have defensive gear at home. I've been asked why no double stack gear, as well as new shooters who have. Well, wait. Oops, sorry. I've been asked why no double stack SAOs. The only common double stack SAO are race guns. Not true. they have been eliminated to allow a more competitive division for defensive/duty gear. Strongly disagree. Side note, I understand that some double action pistols do not allow safeties to be on in double action. Guns can be downed in either SA or DA. All safeties must be on that can be placed on in the condition without modification of the intended safety function of the manufacturer. If a gun doesn't have a safety because it is intended by the manufacturer to be decocked as a safety, then the gun must be decocked. No pistol in single action is allowed to be without safety engaged when down, no exceptions. So I think that is for folks that carry 1911s, that last little statement there. So, which a 1911 in this division would put you at a severe disadvantage.
Yeah, it would. And I guess on that, like, I really like single action guns, so I'm like, oh, my stuff's not legal there, but I think this is kind of along the lines of the division rules episode that we had so long ago, or not that long ago, but it was a while ago in podcast land. Yeah. Like people who want a carry optics legal TO division.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no. I mean, like, yeah, if you have that gun, there's a place for that. It's an open. So, like, they're trying to make this division that, for the most part, has encompassed 80, if not 90%, of the equipment that is currently in common usage in law enforcement and military. Are some departments issued gear going to be affected by this? Probably.
Yeah.
But like, they're trying to encompass the vast majority of it without the arms race, and the only people who are asking that question about using a single action double stack gun are gamers.
Yeah. So,
like, yeah, it's like, well, and we have a division for them. It's called Tac-Ops.
Yeah. Or limited, like, or even limited, And
I mean, if you've come this far that you're willing to shoot patrol division, and that's the equipment you have, like, you've already got all the necessary tools you need to just go shoot TO instead. Yeah. Everyone's still going to be nice to you.
Yep. And if you've got a double stack, 2011, shooting TO with your pump shotgun isn't going to be that big of a deal.
Right.
Yeah. So, but on buying the $2,000 AccuShadow 2 does seem like a cool idea.
It is, and you'll win the match and probably get a lot of your money back out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure I would absolutely love that gun and have a great time too. But yeah, so I'm just gonna stick with my Glock 34 and complain about it because that's what I do best.
Or I'll send you my Hudson as soon as I get it back.
Your Hudson.
Yes, my Hudson had to go back to the mothership.
Oh, already?
Yeah, I broke it.
Nice. All right, well then, no, I don't want to borrow your Hudson.
But it's going to be all fixed when it comes back.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Okay, so so that's what I'm doing this year. I guess the big thing I'm doing this year, like I said, I'm going to play in some other divisions for funsies and to test out gear and stuff like that. Yeah, so you're
in the patrol division. Are there any belt restrictions?
Nope. You heard all the restrictions.
Gotcha. All right.
And there's, it's kind of funny because like in the initial discussion and right about the time I bailed out was when people were saying we're trying to limit the method that people use to load their shotgun. They were trying to say like, oh, use weekend or load single. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, why don't you just say that they have to shoot their pistols one-handed like the the old cop and robber movies, like, I mean, that to me is so ridiculously restrictive, and bringing it up for discussion's one thing, but like standing your ground on that means you're an idiot. I'm sorry, you're an idiot. No, wait, I'm not sorry. You're an idiot if you said that and you actually stand behind that.
Well, yeah, and you're making it hard to the point where it's not going to be fun. It's
Yeah.
already hard enough to attract this audience. It's not, being able to quad load or not quad load is not the issue.
Yeah, and as fast as you can learn a quad load, and as relatively inexpensive as the gear is, maybe we can teach some departments something interesting that they might use. And no, I don't see them rolling into Dunkin' Donuts with a big chest rig on. There's a little shout out to Joe, by the way. Hey-o, Joe loves donuts. But maybe that's something that they can use in another arena. So
and there's lots of prominent names in our sport that do just that behind closed doors. They go and they teach classes to dudes that work for 3-letter agencies and dudes with badges. They don't go there to be tactical. Those groups invite them because they know how to shoot fast.
Yep.
So they go and teach them how to shoot fast, and then those guys are professionals in the tactical world. They can figure out how to make it tactical, but they are borrowing the knowledge that has been developed in this game that is specifically precision at a rapid pace, or how to score points with guns in less time. They're taking that skill set and they're applying it to what they do, not using the excuse of being tactical.
And I've talked to a lot of guys, both related to the show and not, that you would think would be the first ones to scoff at competition shooting as being bullet golf or whatever they call it, and having those folks recognize the value that is competitive shooting. So
yeah, like I can definitely think of at least 4 names you've had on the show that do that.
Yeah.
For a fact, but I don't want to say their names because I'm not sure how cool they are with that.
Sure, and we don't need to do that. But we all know those people that are law enforcement come out and play with us, and like Joe even mentioned on the podcast when he was on, he has difficulty getting his coworkers out there. This is Joe Farewell we're talking about, who's a police officer in Florida. He has difficulty getting his coworkers to come out. So if you can come out, run your duty gear, and maybe learn something new like quad loading or loading 2, I think you're going to be at a advantage, and you're also going to have a ton of fun. So, I'm attacking this from a gamer perspective. How can I game something that's intended not to be gamed? But I do understand the intent of the division and respect that, and I'm looking forward to shooting it. Should be a good time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
I'm glad. Anxious to see how it turns out for you.
Yeah, and so I want to turn to Open Division real quick here, but I do want to talk about one thing real quick. So, and that is the trophy hunting that we alluded to earlier.
Yes.
All right. So when you and I have talked in the past, the 3-Gun Nation Pro Series, you shot with the Razor AMG UH-1 Huey, and one of the reasons that you did so is that it was the new hotness, and no one had a division title with it yet.
That is true.
Right? So, knowing that, and knowing that you didn't make that happen, sadly, before you jumped into Open, is one of the reasons that I'm going to go shoot Patrol Division, and one of the reasons that I strapped that Razor AMG UH-1 Huey on top of my rifle is I'm going to carry the torch for you, buddy.
You're going to win that special prize.
I am. We'll see. So I would like to say that I know who my friends are in Colorado, because anytime I mention that, they're quick to point out all the people that are going to beat me in the division, to which I say, hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate your confidence.
Maybe see you on the range.
Maybe with a little more swear words than that. But yeah, I'm gonna try it out. We're gonna see how it works, man.
Yeah, man. And if you're not trying, you're probably in the wrong place.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go out and shoot it, have fun. At minimum, we're gonna be able to talk about a new division after I shoot the match and what my impression of it was and everything. Like I said, I did shoot my most recent club match with my pistol magazines downloaded to 15 and my 30 round PMags. I didn't have a pump at the time, or at least not one appropriate for the game, so I did shoot just my semi-auto and just ran that normal limited type rules. I should have plugged it now that I think about it, but I didn't think of it at the time. So should be a good time shooting something completely different. It's always a good time. When I shot Blue Ridge a couple years ago and had to plug my shotgun to 8 rounds, it presented like a whole new game. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, new division. There's all kinds of speculation on who's going to win, but until the match is over, it's anybody's game. And hey, Dave has a UH1, so
yeah.
he's already ahead.
I honestly don't know if the other guy has a UH1. So
if you don't, my email address is maxwell@vortexoptics.com.
Adam will hook you up. But one of the interesting things is I honestly did this research this morning in anticipation of speaking with you about it, because the thing I've heard so much is, oh, your competition is this guy, he's murder with a pump, he's gonna kill it. I'm like, okay, cool. And one of the guys that one of my friends is like, he shoots one match a year and he wins the division. Like, that's how good he is. And he doesn't even shoot semi-auto. He shoots a pump. And it's like, okay, well, that kind of scares me a little bit because I haven't shot a pump in a long time. But I looked up all the major matches in all the states around me for the last 2 years, and I didn't see his name at all. So I think half the people are like, seriously, like, oh yeah, you better watch out for that guy, and half the people are just screwing with me. And I can't figure out which half is the right half. But when I figure out, I will put them on the list, Adam.
Yeah, I think you can put them all on the list. I think they're all in that second category.
I think it's funny though. It's like one of those things. Like, I used to have an ex-girlfriend that would ask me questions, and then when I would tell her the answer, she'd be like, "Well, how do you know that?" It's like, "Well, I'm smart, first of all, and then second, like, don't ask the question."
Duh.
So oh, hey, I'm gonna go shoot this division over here, and I'm gonna have a good time. Oh, well, you're probably not gonna win. Oh, thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, people do the same thing to me. Division I'm going in.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, you're gonna get your butt kicked over there. I was like, oh, well, am I? Are you sure? Because that person hasn't shot against me.
Nice transition, Adam. You are a consummate professional. So you are now jumping over to only shoot open.
I am. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
This is exciting. So we've talked about it a couple times. It's getting
more and more exciting all the time.
So we did the Breaking Open episode with you and Scott, and people seem to love that one. By the way, you coined a term, I think, open curious, and it sounds like there is a ton of open curious people in the Three Gun Show audience and Three Gun world at large. So you decided, like, I'm a little curious, but I'm gonna go try it out and see if I like it. And you added a pistol to the stable recently.
Yes. Actually, I mean, the decision or the talk on it was back in December, but it just arrived last Friday, and so we're learning how to shoot a dot gun now.
and not a traditional open dot gun, right? So
yeah, I got a Glock 34. Well, maybe not.
You're silly. So what you chose? Obviously, a 2011 pistol. You chose to do it a little bit different. So tell us what you got going there.
All right. So basically, I mean, I obviously shoot for Atlas Gunworks. Big believer in their pistols. And I was talking with Adam over the winter, kind of like what we were gonna do for next year. Like, to be honest, I wasn't even really looking for another gun. Like, we were just talking. I was looking, I like to shoot single stack in the winter as a cross training tool. And he was launching a single stack line, so I was really excited about getting one of those. But we hemmed and hawed about it, and realistically, it kind of came back to, well, hitched my wagon to an optics company. There's one division where you can shoot exponentially more optics than the other divisions.
Well, and with limited, you're kind of limited.
Well, exactly. And at the same time, it was kind of like there's some other elements professionally outside of 3-gun, that I may or may not get involved with. So it's kind of like, well, I mean, we're going to be showing optics to people. Like, we need guns to show optics to people on. And I was like, I have no interest really in shooting a striker-fired gun.
And you've
with
said
a dot on top
for
of it.
a long time that you have no interest in shooting open.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, yeah, or open class pistols.
Right.
We have one here. One of Josh's Chaoses is actually here right now for some testing. So I have that one in my possession too, and I've shot it. I went out there and played around with it a little bit. But and if I were going to buy that type of pistol, it is my favorite of those types of pistols that I've shot. But it's just like, interest in owning one or interest in doing the work as a sponsored shooter to earn one. I just wasn't quite there. And on those, I mean, you're kind of committed on the optic that you can use.
Right.
I mean, that mount or that, if we're going to mill the slide for something, you're kind of committed. Like, if you're milled for an RMR, you're committed to RMR, whether you like RMR or not.
Yeah.
If you're milled for a Delta point, you're stuck. We get that call all the time. People get, I got an RMR cut slide. How do I mount my Vortex? Well, currently there's no adapter to go from RMR footprint to Doctor footprint, which is what our products are. So you're kind of stuck. And
Hang
so
on.
I was talking,
$1 million idea here. Adapter plate.
well, it's funny you say that, David.
Oh, tell me more.
Because I was talking with Adam, and I was kind of like, hey, his Atlas Gunworks is Adam Nielsen. His name's also Adam. And I was like, what if we could do something like that? Because I would really like to get one of your guns with a dot on it, but if we come out with something else in a year or 2 years or 5 years or whatever it is, if we come out with something, I want to be able to adapt to that. So could we maybe do an adapter plate style gun? Is that something? And he's like, I've actually been thinking about doing exactly something like that.
Oh my.
And so I was like, oh, now we're cooking with gas. And so I was like, well, and he's like, well, what would you do with it? And I was like, well, shoot open, kind of jokingly. Or I was like, I'm probably shoot demos and stuff like that too, and do field testing. If we were to field test optics, we probably wouldn't be able to shoot them at matches because there's other people at matches, and they would come over and look and say, hey, what's that?
Right.
So but so I was like, I'd probably use it for open and whatnot, and but I was like, I wouldn't even want to comp on it. I wouldn't even really want to comp on it probably. I would just want the gun that you make with a dot on it that fits in a standard holster. And he's like, well, I got this idea for a gun. He's like, I actually think I was like, I'm not going to shoot major with it. I am not interested in open major. So what would you think about a slide ride adapter plate style gun specifically for shooting minor ammo? And he's like, I kind of have an idea for that too, because he's like, I think the ideal length for this platform to shoot that kind of bullet is actually something less than 5 inches.
Oh, weird.
So he's like, I kind of want to build this thing that's sub 5 inches. I will probably put a comp on the end of it, but it'll be super subtle. And I was like, hey, so if I can have a dot gun, a slide ride dot gun with modularity for different optics, the bottom half is exactly what you make, and it fits in a standard holster, I'm game. And he's like, I totally have an idea for that. I'm gonna whip it up, and I'm gonna see what you think. And that was the last we spoke of about it for several months. And then I saw some pictures out there on the Instagram. which made the waiting even harder. but it finally showed up just last Friday. But other than those parameters, like that's the only direction or the only input I had on the pistol, and everything else that's been seen on that pistol is Adam Nielsen's creation. Based on what he knows of me, he knows what I want to do with it, and then some ideas he had on how to make guns work. The first thing few people picked up on is like, hey, no Evo grip? Well, nope, because they currently don't make the Evo grip in anything other than stainless steel. The grip on this pistol is aluminum.
Oh, interesting. Why?
Reduced swing weight. So reduced swing weight, and Adam also thought balance-wise, the lighter material grips would add something to the pistol. Excuse me. So yeah, currently the Evo grip isn't available in those other materials, and so that's what this one showed up with. Now, if given the choice, if you'd asked me, hey, do you want Evo grip or do you want one of these lightweight grips, I would have told him Evo grip, because Evo grip's amazing. Yeah. But at the same time, like this gun is super comfy too. Like I'm not super bummed that it's not an Evo grip. This one's still really comfortable, and I like the weight. Like, I mean, he's absolutely right. The balance on this pistol absolutely worked out. And I was super stoked to get it to the range. Took it to the range this weekend, and so now we're like mid-season, right? We're recording this middle to end of May. Okay.
Yeah, it's so May 23rd to be exact.
Yeah, even by Minnesota standards, I mean, we are in the season now. We've had a couple matches and whatnot. I had a couple big matches, and I have a couple big ones coming up. And so it's like, all right, well, it is time to, and I've been holding back. Like, I have limited practice resources. I've been holding back on some of them until this pistol came, because I knew once I got it, like, I'm going to want to shoot it a lot to try and, so I wasn't going to put a bunch of time into honing limited gun craft.
Well, you've said on the podcast before that you're emotionally detached from quad loading now.
Also, yes. Still haven't been practicing quad loading, so I'm really hoping that Vepr shows up soon.
So this is it's an interesting point that we've gotten to here, Adam, is it isn't as easy to switch divisions as it might appear to be. Like for me, I don't have to get like a custom pistol build, right? Like I'm gonna pick up a M3 or no, what was it again? P3000 at the local Cabela's, and I'm gonna hack it to pieces, right? So that doesn't require anyone else. If you can rely on yourself and procuring things, it's not too bad at jumping divisions. But if you need to rely on like the parts manufacturer of not only the custom builder but the people that supply parts to that custom builder, then now we're kind of talking, it might take some time. And let's throw in the fact that Adam's wrong-handed, and your Vepr is not only a custom Vepr, but it's a one-of-a-kind custom Vepr. Yeah, so like Dissident Arms, I was chatting with Mike and Lan about this at Texas 3 Gun, and I was like, dudes, Adam's going to kill me if I don't ask. What's up with the Vepr? And they basically had to design and manufacture one-of-one left-handed mid-barrel comp for the shorty shotgun that you wanted.
Right.
And that takes time.
I think what they said is if I wanted a left-handed normal length one, it would have, I could have it today.
Yep.
If I wanted a right-handed shorty, I could have it today. If I wanted a left-handed shorty, which I do, that I don't have the parts for.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like they don't have the parts for it. You're going to have to wait a couple weeks until we get the parts in. It's like we have to create that part.
Yeah, and I'm totally good with that. And now that they now that they did the legwork on it to get them made, like they didn't just make one, they made a few of them.
Right.
So the next couple guys that call in, they're gonna have that part, and you're welcome. That
reminds me. I asked him how many left-handed short barrel or non-NFA shorty shotguns have you guys sold? And the answer, one. Yeah. So they
just wait, guys. And, have those in order invoices ready.
Yeah, operators are standing by for all you all three of you lefties out there. If you want to shoot open, then get you some.
Well, I know Virgil's left-handed, so I got
at least one
in the
really?
hopper. Yeah,
that's weird. So okay, sidetrack again because we do that pretty well here. I was watching one of your Instagram videos and it was Virgil shooting your pistol and he was shooting it lefty and I'm like, why would he do that? Did he do that just to see what it's like to be Adam for a day? Nope.
Turns out he's left-handed. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope, he's just broken like me.
Weird. I'm sorry, dude.
Makes sharing equipment super easy.
Oh, I bet.
I didn't even understand what all of you out there like shared with each other, but now I know. Like, I don't have to bring an extra holster when I travel with Virgil. I'll just use his.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, so you've got your pistol. I'm guessing you just added a...
you wanted me to tell the funny story about the pistol, too.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about this one. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm waiting for my pistol, and, all the names of Atlas Gunwork. Atlas is Greek, I believe. It's Greek mythology. They're all named after Greek gods. So Chaos, Nemesis. What are the other one? Titan. And for some reason, one day I had because
no female gods. I'd like to point out.
Well, you'd have to take that up with him. You have to have him on the show and see what he says about that.
Yeah. But, Adam, you're on notice here. We need some equal opportunity goddesses out there.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you call in, the voice that's on the other end is going to be Kat, who is a female. So
that's a good point.
Maybe she'll get one going here.
There you go.
But like I have it in my head, like in the back of my head coming out of last fall, the Gladiator. Maximus, because that's like how I picture myself in my head. I'm like Russell Crowe.
I don't know why that's funny.
I don't either. I'm kind of offended.
I would be too. I can't stop laughing though. Oh my god. Shit. I'm crying now.
I am Maximus, and I will have my vengeance.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I got that going on in my head.
I've heard you do the "Are You Not Entertained?" and then you likened the Three Gun Nation shoot off to Gladiator, right? Because it's basically just throwing fresh bodies on the pile.
Oh, it totally is. So I had that in my head one day, and actually I had that little dude like taped up on my desk.
No kidding.
I was looking at it one day. Yeah, I had a little picture like, "Are you not entertained?"
Yeah.
For difficult customers, which we don't have very often, but sometimes we do. And but we love our customers, and that's why we're here. So I had that in my head, and one day, just out of the blue, on like a cold February day, I sent Adam a message. It's like, "Hey, if my pistol like becomes a model, can we call it the Maximus?"
Oh, I love it.
To which I think I really only got an LOL, which I just took as permission.
LOL. That is affirmative.
All right, we're good to go. So now my goal, listeners, listen up. Here's the audience participation part of the programming. My goal is to get as many people calling and emailing, inquiring about Maximus pistols as humanly possible.
Oh my god.
Because Adam will know exactly who sent them.
Oh my god, I love that.
And now he's pretty much committed to calling it the Maximus. Like the train has left the station.
Yeah, you can't unring that bell.
I know, right? Like you can call it something else on the website, but everyone's gonna know.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? So If you go to atlasgunworks.com, there's a phone number right
Which
on.
you should.
There's a phone number right on the front. It's 855-940-1911. Oh, 1911. I see what he did there. And
Well played, sir.
there's also an email address. It's adam@atlasgunworks.com. And so I'm guessing that's who you would contact and ask for a Maximus?
You sure could. Just ask him for a build sheet and a price list, and let the creativity flow.
Oh, my God. I love that.
If you really want to class it up, what you do is you get the titanium grip.
Ooh.
Yes. Even I don't have a titanium grip, but if you really want to be baller, that's where it's at.
All right. So if you want to make Adam Maxwell happy, give Adam, is it Nielsen? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Give Adam Nielsen a call and ask him about the Maximus. 855-940-1911. So that'll be a good time. We'll all laugh. Let us know how it goes. So if you're like me, you name your guns. So you basically name this thing Maximus, right?
Right. I don't always name my guns, but I think this one stuck.
I've only named my 3-gun guns.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got Brittany, I've got Christina, and I forgot what the other one was. It was definitely a 90s pop star though. I can't remember what the other one was. Brittany, Christina.
Pink?
Oh, no. Pink would be a good one, though. Shoot, now I need to build a gun and name it Pink. So, all right. So, Adam, we've covered your open gear. You just got a picture of your barrel on the interwebs. Late breaking news here. And you're almost to open division. So,
yeah, it's coming right down to the wire.
And
Mike and Lan have a date with Destiny in France.
yeah,
that is coming up. So I'm really hoping that we have it in time before they leave. And they've initially said it's going to be ready in time. It's not a big deal if it doesn't, but I really hope it is.
Cool.
I might actually. I was like, guys, even if I can just shoot it in the white, like I'll send it back to you, and you can Cerakote it later. Just can I please just let me shoot open at Safari Land? That's all I want.
Oh, Safari Land would be a good place to do that. So when you're talking about matches that lend themselves to being fun for different divisions, that'd be a good one.
I picture Safari Land being very good for or very fun to shoot open at, and I want to shoot those ginormous fireballs out of the Vepr on the night stages.
Ooh.
With a flashlight. I want to put a surefire flashlight on the Vepr and shoot that thing at night like it is going out of style.
Now we're talking, dude.
It's going to be like the noisy cricket.
I like it. Well, so this brings us to our last reason to jump divisions that we came up with here, and that is to play with the big dogs. So it used to be a couple of years ago, not too long ago, that you would jump to Tac-Ops to play with the big dogs because that's where like all the sharks were swimming, right?
That was the show.
But as of recently, it appears that there's a scattering from Tac-Ops, and I kind of attribute that to the fact that there's no 3-Gun Nation Pro Series in Tac-Ops anymore. So now it kind of frees people up to not practice for the big show. They can go play in other divisions.
You can express yourself, people.
Express yourself. So, by the way, that one's for you, DJ. DJ loves when I sing on the podcast. God, where was I going with that? Oh, okay. So Josh Fraley comes into the scene. He's only shoot open. He's out there just wiping the floor with open people. He somehow coaxed Scott Green into coming and shooting with him. Scott's absolutely on freaking fire and killing it. And
so hot right now.
And then you look out there and you think like, wow, that looks like a ton of fun. But I will never shoot a dot on my pistol. So then you get a dotted pistol, and now you're gonna go play with those boys. Does that kind of sum it up there?
Well, and I think I've said this on the show before too. It's like I hitched my wagon to an optics company, so my participation in 3-gun this season and for the foreseeable future really isn't success based. Vortex doesn't really care if I win or not. We're there to be ambassadors to our customers and to the sport, and also to be, we're maintained here at headquarters to be subject matter experts. So my job is to both reach out to our customers and connect with our customers, but also have an intimate understanding of our products. So the more I use them, the more understanding I have. Like, in the 10 minutes that I've been shooting a dot pistol, I already know way more about shooting dot pistols than I knew last week. So,
nice. Well, and dot pistols, much like Scott Green, are so freaking hot right now that everyone and their brother is putting a dot on a pistol.
Right. And when I initially ordered this gun or told people this was the gun I was going with, they were all saying, "Oh, dude, if you're gonna shoot open, you got to get the saddle mount. Like, you gotta, dude, the slide ride's not where it's at." I was like, "Well, yeah, that's great." But the vast majority of folks that we talk to on the phone who are using our products on pistols, they are using them on slide ride dots. They're using them on Glocks, on Springfields, on Smith & Wessons, on Walthers. That those are the pistols
P320s, X5s,
right,
Canics.
Right. And I'm not really willing to spend any of my personal time or personal money with those pistols, but if I can pair the platform that I want to shoot with the product that I'm supposed to be knowledgeable about, then that's a win for me. So that's a big part of why I went to open, was for that reason. And then if you want to practice and get good and win too, well, that does look good as well. But my priority for going over to open was product knowledge, and be able to spend more time with products, especially the red dots. Some of that has floated my direction. It's kind of a product that I specialize in. Everybody kind of has their own niche in the consumer sales team of what the products that they gravitate towards and are really knowledgeable about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can talk about binoculars, but I am not Mike McDowell knowledgeable on binoculars.
And I notice that when I watch a lot of the Vortex Optics videos too, because I do reference those quite a bit when I'm doing stuff. And it's like, oh, hey, yeah, there's Ryan Muckner talking about, long range shooting. That makes sense.
Who, in case anyone's still wondering, he is still here, actually working very hard on calling customers back and helping them troubleshoot their scopes at 7:00 at night with me. So,
oh, you're kidding?
It's the two of us and the security guard in the building right now.
Hey, all right.
He also says hey.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
But yeah, so that was the primary reason I went to open. And then you get that idea, it's kind of rolling around in your head, and it's like, wow, man, it is kind of fun to shoot fast. And
I like going fast.
Like fast is fun. And then yeah, and like the mental snowball of like gearing up to shoot open. Like as we got into spring here, I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I don't know if it's going to be fun, but for whatever's going to happen, like I'm ready to pull the pin on it and see what happens. So really excited about it. And then of course, we're competitive dudes. So yeah, do I want to go into open division and win? Yep, sure do. Is it going to be an uphill climb? Yeah, it is. I don't think I'm as far off the pace as people might want to think I am, though.
Oh my.
So, but it's kind of a small pond down here in southern Wisconsin, so we'll see. But the boys are all training really hard for the World Shotgun Championships, and right after that is the Tri-Gun, and I'm gonna be there. So
yeah, shooting open.
We'll see what happens. Because typically open talent pool, some very good shooters do shoot open, but open talent pool isn't super deep.
Yeah,
and there's a few guys at the top. There's a lot of old guys who can't see anymore. Not a whole lot in the middle. So
inverse bell curve.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you were saying in patrol division, like, oh yeah, this one guy who shoots one match a year and he always wins and blah blah blah. Well, yeah, but who was he shooting against? You know?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
You know. So now at Trigun, Josh is going to be there. Josh is certainly a force to be contended with. But Jerry Miklick's going to be there too.
When is is he really? When is the Trigun?
Yeah, I heard that today. It is the third weekend in June. I believe it's the 22nd-ish.
Okay. So coming right off the Trigun is the Jeff Kirkwood Memorial match.
Yep.
It'll be at Forest Lake Sportsman's Club as well. Are we going to be seeing you shoot open there too?
I will be. We pare down the divisions quite a bit at that one because we're ultimately feeding into a bracket.
Right.
So I run 2 divisions at that match. One of them is Tac-Optics. And then last couple of years, we've tried to open up open division because we had a couple open shooters. That's like the only equipment they have. It wasn't just Josh. But we had a couple of open guys who were like, well, we don't have Tac-Optics stuff, so like, how can we play? And so we've opened it, but we never had a whole lot of interest. But then, going into this season, we have UML introducing 2x4.
Yeah.
And not only is there 2x4, there is a 2x4 open division. So there's 2x4 TAC and there's 2x4 open.
So are you going to be running those at Jeff Kirkwold?
Yeah, the second division at Kirkwald is 2x4 open.
Ooh, exciting.
And we already have 17 people signed up for it. So it's,
no way.
It's a legit division, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and if anybody's dabbled in 2x4 at all, like PCC pretty much rules the roost there. So
yeah.
So I don't think even people who don't have open gear, I think they feel confident enough that their PCC is gonna carry them enough, and they want to shoot their PCC. People who like PCC really like PCC.
So all right, so we have 2x4 division is 2x4 open is going to be the second division. 17 people already signed up. What is the TAC division? Are you just calling that Tac-Ops?
Yep, Tac-Optics division.
Okay.
We're running UML rules.
UML rules.
Yeah, it's
feeds in
Tac-Optics and 2x4 open.
Now, so I know there's spots open for the match here, so let's briefly tell the audience what it's about. So you're a little bit familiar with this because you were the match director. First day, 5 stages, right? Yep.
First day, we run 5 stages. Just like any other match, we're accruing some scores. It's most, by my own definition, it's a bay match. The first day, well, the second day too. But we run 5 bay stages to accrue some points, and then we use those standings to seed everybody into a NCAA style bracket. And the second day, all shooting is head-to-head single elimination shoot-offs. And so what we do is we shoot every, the first round takes a long time, but we shoot everybody off in the first round. Everybody who gets knocked out in the first round, they get seeded into their own second chance bracket, completely separate from the main bracket, and those folks all shoot off against each other to determine a winner in that division as well, or that bracket as well. So you're guaranteed to shoot at least 2 times on the second day, and we have at least one. I think we actually have at least two side stages going on the second day this year. So there's plenty of opportunities to shoot on the second day. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, like last year, I'll be there as well this year, and calling live action, which we'll then replay on the podcast here. But if you're thinking like, oh, maybe I want to go, definitely go, because this is a kick in the pants. It's a cool format, and there's going to be a lot of cool side stuff there this year. And of course, I'll be there with Adam. So come say hi for us. But I'm sorry, what were you going to say there, Adam?
Absolutely, and I might even throw in the towel early this year, just kind of like get eliminated in the second round, so that I can just podcast with you, because that's really my favorite.
Nice, yeah. We so last year I got I got sent over to the second chance bay, and whomever I was up against got a bye, because I basically just piloted the seat up there. But I did do a grudge match with Ryan Muckenern at the end, which was a good time.
Right. And then new for this year, what we're going to do, last year, typically what we've done, so we got prizes, right? And this year, actually, we have set it up so that all the match sponsors are basically getting 501c3 credit for donating to the match.
Because it benefits Task Force Dagger, right?
Yeah, this is a direct benefit to Task Force Dagger. So all the proceeds are going to them. And we've gotten a lot of sponsorship interest in that, especially on a down year industry-wise. There's a lot of people who weren't otherwise interested in sponsoring matches that have sent us a lot of very nice stuff. But the way we give it all away, the winner obviously gets to pick first. Second place gets to pick second, and then basically for the semifinalists, they pick an order as we traditionally would. And then as we go down, we go random draw by tier of finish. So the next bracket down from the semifinalists, we pull their names out of a hat, and they get to walk. Once all those guys have walked, we go to the next bracket down. All those people who are eliminated, we pull their names out of a hat, and then so on and so forth. So we do somewhat random draw, but it's merit-based random draw because I still believe prizes are for winners. So in the according to the success level of your performance at the match, within your tier of finish, that's how we divide out the prizes. We're also doing 2 raffle guns this year. Still trying to finalize the details on it. One of them is going to be a JP15 for sure, and I believe we're also going to do a Radian R1 is going to be raffled off as well.
Those Radians are nice.
They are. So Amanda was
and of course
super
the JPs
cool
are
at
too.
Radian. Yeah. And PWS is on board, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some PWS guns.
Dang.
I think we have some SLR stuff. We have some Falcor barrels. We have Surefire lights. We have Fiocchi ammo. We have Safariland certs. We got a lot of stuff. We got a big pile of stuff over at the house. So, yeah. So we accrue scores on day 1. We do a shoot-off on day 2. Trying to do something a little bit different. I know there's a lot of matches on the schedule. Trying to incentivize people to come do something a little bit different. I'm putting something else on the schedule. I feel like if you're going to put something else on the schedule, you got to bring something unique to the table. So this is the niche that I tried to pick up on. This is going to be the 5th time that we've run the match. So that's my story. Yeah, still spaces available, and hope people come out because we're really looking to. I'm really looking to. In the past, it was important to me for it to be a major match. I would say that's become less important to me now. I want to make it a good event, a fun event for everyone, and it's a benefit for the Task Force Dagger Foundation. So my real incentive is to make a really fun event that people want to come to, so that we can generate a lot of fun a lot of funds by having a lot of fun for a very worthy cause. Last year we raised just shy of $9,000 that we donated, and our goal this year, I set it at 10. Travis actually was a bit more ambitious. He's trying to get to $15,000.
Nice.
For the foundation. So and he's got plans. So we're hoping we can do it.
I love it. Well, Adam, you're gonna make me switch back to Tac-Ops to shoot that one, which I'll totally do. And I'm looking forward to, man, because last year was a bunch of fun. And if people want to sign up, there'll be a link in the show notes at 3gunshow.com, or just look on Practice Score, search JKM, and you will find it.
Oh, yeah, and we got Wisconsin Brewing on board, so we're going to have at least 2 kegs of beer.
Oh, hey.
Kentucky guys, are you out there?
Does Kentucky guys like to shoot? We'll say that.
Yeah, they do.
All right.
But when the shoot is through, this bud's for you.
So, Adam.
Dave.
We talked about all kinds of different reasons to jump divisions. We talked about a couple plans that you and I each have to play in different divisions. Any final thoughts on division jumping?
I think it's kind of an interesting phenomena. How when people change divisions, how like everyone thinks you're changing divisions to win, or people always like question your motives for jumping a division. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you're a Tac-Optics shooter. Why are you shooting that division? Or you're a limited shooter. Why do you think you can shoot Tac-Optics? Are you worthy?
Dude, that's a great point. Like people, and you know what it is? It's a, I think it's like an innate human thing where I have you categorized in your head, and if you jump out of that, you have to answer for it. You have to justify yourself to me, because now the math on Adam in my head doesn't add up, and I need to justify that. I need to balance my balance sheet again. So maybe that's a part of it. But
Yeah, and I mean, like maybe I've been a division jumper all along, because when I came out of, my newbie cocoon, like the first optic I bought was an aim point red dot. That's what I started with. So technically, I started life as a limited shooter. Quickly learned that was kind of hard to do. So I bought a variable power optic, and I started shooting Tac-Optics, and I shot Tac-Optics for a few years. And then, last year I jumped to limited division. I shot limited exclusively for about a year and a half.
mm-hmm.
And so everyone was kind of like, well, you're trophy hunting in limited division, or you're slumming in limited, or division jumping in limited. I'm like, no, limited's fun, and I want to shoot limited. Like, what's the problem?
It's a different
And
challenge,
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way that I view it now, because I've done the same thing. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why are you not shooting limited? Adam, go back to shooting limited. Make me feel better about myself. But
and that's what's funny, because I shot limited for a year and a half. Now that I'm not shooting limited this year, I went back. I shot a major match in Tac-Optics. It's like, you're a limited shooter shooting Tac-Optics. Like,
Yeah.
I shot limited for a year and a half. All of a sudden, when I was in limited, I wasn't a limited shooter. Now that I'm out of limited, I'm a limited shooter, like on the prowl again. Apparently open curious or whatever it is. It's like I just want to shoot guns and have fun. And this year, now I work for an optics company, so looking to explore more of our products. There just happens to be a division I can do that in, and you know what? It's now that I've come this far, it looks like it might actually be kind of fun. So, gonna shoot this division for a while, and we'll see if it's super fun. I'll shoot it again next year, and if not, well, who knows what next year will bring.
nice. Well, for me, there, of course, it'd be nice to take home a W and get to give you a hard time because I got the W with the Huey and not you, which actually that would make me really happy. Let's just call that my reasoning.
Maybe I'll just shoot the Huey in open so I can keep the dream
snap.
alive.
Oh, snap. But I think the at the end of the day, it's about fun, right? And variety is fun. Novelty is fun. And by novelty, I mean like new things, right? So a stage plan with an 8-round pump shotgun is completely different than my 12-round Tac-Ops semi-automatic, right? It's completely different than if I had a Dissident Arms Vepr, right? So there's that novelty to it. There's the novelty of, like, now I don't have any a powered optic. I'm playing with completely different people. I'm using different gear. There's all kinds of cool stuff that goes along with that, and different things you have to think of in not only your stage planning but your match prep, and then just having something exciting and different to look forward to for me. So for me, it's all about the fun. I'm going to continue to shoot different divisions as they come up. Probably, test them out in club matches instead of majors like I'm doing with Patrol here. But it just seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun game, people. There's lots of fun guns to shoot, so let's shoot them all.
Whoa, dude, that's a great way to end the show. So yes, shoot them all. Shoot all the guns, everybody. You have anything else to say on that one?
I don't know. I was leaving it quiet in case that's where you wanted to cut it.
All right. Well, Adam, thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for your perspective and for always jumping divisions and giving me something to talk about. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah. May not always win the divisions, but we're gonna at least keep it interesting. You never know. You never know where I'm gonna be a threat, or maybe I'll just tank. Who knows? But no, I'm definitely excited to shoot these divisions or these matches I have coming up in open division. So ready to ride the lightning. And if you're division curious, it's okay. Just give it a try. The division you're in will be there. It'll still be there when you come back.
Yeah,
if you
that's a
come
good point.
back, you know.
Yeah, Tac-Ops ain't going anywhere, so I'm just going to go play in a division for a little while, come back, and now I'll have a new pump gun to play with. So.
Well, yeah, and I don't know, at the risk of like kickstarting the conversation again, like that was always kind of my fear.
Yeah, dude.
Like when I was in Tac Optics, going to major matches, I was like, that looks kind of like fun, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do well in that division. So I didn't want to waste a trip on a major match. Like, it's like this is a major match. I want to do as well as I can. I don't necessarily want to throw that opportunity away on playing in another division. So I think that was a really big step for me. The first time I signed up for a major match in limited was like, all right, I'm consciously deciding like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone to shoot this major match in this other division. And I was really worried about it. And it turned out to be a lot of fun. And so I kind of, now I kind of look back on some of those matches like, man, I kind of wish I would have tried it earlier. I'm less afraid, I was all in to shoot heavy metal at Shooter Source with guns that, I was going to borrow a pump shotgun. I'm pretty comfortable with a 1911, and I had a 308 that I have some time on, but I basically threw a 1-6 on it and sighted it in like a week before I was going to go. But I wasn't afraid of that anymore because when I jumped divisions the first time, like it was like, oh, this is pretty fun. I wonder what other kinds of fun there are out there. I mean, beer is good, but I don't know, maybe whiskey's fun too.
Yeah,
who knows?
It's
until
like,
you try some,
It's like the first gun you shoot. You want to shoot them all now.
Exactly. So I think that's kind of where I'm kind of like drunk on division jumping, like because I want to find out about all the other things. Now that I was so serious about Tac Optics for so long, it's like, well, let's learn about the other things, and then as other people have branched out, like more people have branched out. I mean, SAS 41 bought Vepr,
What?
Yeah. So like all of a sudden I was like, SAS showed up at a club match that I wasn't at. So all of a sudden SAS won open. Like what? When did Chris start shooting open? And now come on the podcast with Dave, and now Kevin's shooting open. It's like, oh, Kevin's shooting open now?
Yeah, right.
There's all kinds of people. Like now that it's okay to jump divisions, like everyone else is trying out, and everyone's like, oh man, there's all these other things out there, and maybe we just have all this pent up energy to buy guns that we haven't been buying. It's like it's okay. Go buy that Vepr, try some open. Go buy that dot pistol, try some open. Maybe go buy that 308 you've been craving. See if you can shoot some heavy.
Yeah, what's kind of funny? Like people give me a hard time all the time when they're like, I'm thinking about buying this gun. I'm like, oh yeah, you should do it. And they always, tease me about being an instigator. It's like, well, that's why you brought it up. You want permission. I'm giving you permission. So if you want permission to buy a gun, Dave will give it to you. I will absolutely tell you, yes, you should buy that gun. Buy that Dissident Arms Vepr and shoot open. Buy that, Breda B12I and shoot Tac-Ops or shoot limited. Buy the pump shotgun and shoot patrol or heavy. Yes, you do it. You deserve it. You work hard all week so you can have fun on the weekend, and you owe it to yourself to have the most fun possible, and you will do that by shooting more divisions. Adam, I think that's the best place to end it here. Thanks, buddy, for hanging in and for being a part of the show. As always, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Always good to be on the show. And you have any other ideas of stuff you want us to talk about, go ahead and feed them to Dave.
Yeah, slide, ride, or die.
Slide, ride, or die. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey, before you take off, check out the show notes at 3gunshow.com for links to things that we discussed in the podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Armalite, the original. Armalite rifles put the AR in AR-15. The rifles themselves come with 1-8 twist barrels, match barrels, 18-inch or 13.5-inch with a 15-inch or 12.5-inch handguard, Timney trigger, Luth AR stock, adjustable gas system, tunable comp, a patented tunable comp. This thing's ready to go right out of the box for a 3-gun with no additional modifications other than putting on a nice optic. I myself use a Vortex Viper PST 1-6 when I'm shooting Tac-Ops or their Spitfire when I'm shooting limited. Check them out at armalite.com. Quick reminder that if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, subscribe in iTunes, Google Play, Podcast Addict, or wherever you get your podcast content, so you will always get the very latest. Thank you so much for downloading, listening, and subscribing to the show. I'm Dave Hartman, and I'll see you on the range.
If you are finished, unload, show clear.